Hey guys, what is going on? RedMaster here, and welcome back to another Cars and Castles video, where today we are going to be discussing with you guys a couple of little interesting new developments, not only from the news tab that we got, I think, yesterday, but some interesting discussion that went down in the Discord last night, and what has really changed without you guys really noticing. So that all being said, let's go ahead, just get right into it, starting with the news tab. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is the account system upgrades. Now, this kind of might have just been, nonchalant news to players. Like, they just kind of passed over and was like, oh, it's cool that this is happening, but nothing really that detrimental to the game. I'm still going to discuss it anyway, because I find that if it's in the news tab, then it must be at some point considered important. So it opens up with, we're working on some upgrades on the account system that will eventually allow duplicates of usernames, which is nice, seeing as how we can only make so many names on our own before having to relate to the whole number system. Like, I have RedMaster, and then someone else has to get, like, RedMaster 077, like, with the 2 million players in the database now, which is quite impressive. It can be painful for new players to find an available username, which is, I guess it makes sense. So what they're actually working on is a new system, as you'd see, where all players can have a randomly generated set of 3 numbers attached to their name. Now, I'm not really sure if that's going to display in the name itself, like how you'll have RedMaster 718 or, like, RedMaster 002. But, in the display name itself. But what it sounds like to me is that we'll be getting a set of 3 numbers to our account, and that will really be our, like, identity, the number, like, not, well, okay, it sounds bad when I put it like that, saying how the numbers are going to be our identity. But essentially what those numbers, I imagine, are in place for is allowing us to have, our name, like RedMaster, and someone else can have the RedMaster tag, I guess. But what makes them, unique is that the 3 numbers that are attached to the username, of course, those are going to be unique to every player. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that works. Right now, the new system isn't in place. They did mention that the new system is not really done yet here. When they said the new system is finished, you'll be able to see the adjusted username. So right now, as it's not in there, so if you check your account now, it shouldn't have any kind of change to it. But something else that was quite important, at least to me, is the mention of how people can also now log in with their emails, which is great because I know a lot of people sometimes don't remember their username. They bounce away for a while, but the email kind of remains the same, and they always remember that. So as long as they have, like, an email linked up to their account, then they should be able to log in, which I find is really useful. But that was more of the technical side of the update. I figured I'd start with this first because this is it was mentioned in the news tab itself, so it kind of highlights how important Vaughn thinks that this is, which is, it's kind of important, I think, to me as well, seeing as how people can now log in with the emails. That's a nice change. And the duplicate usernames, while I'm unclear about how that works exactly, it sounds like it might be, needed at this stage. But with that being said, let's move on to some of the more game impactful changes that were discussed on Discord, not necessarily in the news tab. So one of these changes, this is probably the smallest of the 3 that I'm going to mention today. One of the changes was an increase to matchmaking speed, a little bit of a faster player finder. There are some more technical discussions about that in the Discord. I'm not going to kind of retell that kind of whole discussion to you here. It's kind of lengthy, and some of it is sort of like, if you guys want to check it out for yourself, I recommend, again, heading to the Discord. But, truth be told, it's from what I boil it down to, it's a bit of a faster matchmaking speed, which is nice. So players now, if you're on the mobile side, I understand that sometimes when you're on mobile, you kind of want to find a game, get into it, and then jump out kind of as quickly as possible. So hopefully the matchmaking speed will help you guys with that if you are, an avid mobile user. I know this doesn't really affect people who play on Steam because they can sit down for periods of time, and, they can afford to wait the extra minute or two. But I guess matchmaking speed increased all around is a great, or matchmaking speed, yeah, increased, right? I'm not trying to say it's slower. I'm trying to say it's faster. And sometimes, right now the measurement of time is eluding me on that kind of front. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is you should be able to find matches faster now, which is going to be a great change. Hopefully, some of you maybe have already started to feel this impact. Uh, it might have been small, but now that I'm bringing it to attention, hopefully you guys will notice now that you now have the chance to get into matches quicker. So I think that's a really smart change. And from there, we move on into the two probably bigger and more impactful changes that happened last night, of course, off the radar. The first relating to tournament. As you guys know, we have three modes: Hero, Standard, and Rainbow that swap out, or at least rotate out, every week or so. Like you'll get Standard one week, Rainbow the next, Hero, and it kind of rotates back in like a cycle almost. But however, last night players did express some dislike for Hero Draft, and I mean this has been something that's kind of prevalent in Discord. We have people who aren't a fan of Hero, mainly for its inconsistency with how buff spells work, and what things can affect the hero and what other things can't. So they kind of expressed that concern of like, well, if it's not really a finished mode, then what's the point of playing it? And you might share those concerns as well. I was personally never a fan of Hero Draft as well, mostly because it was never really a draft. I think in a sense, I don't know if it changed now or from the past few weeks. But Hero required you to bring in a pre-made deck into the tournament, which is kind of rough for players who don't have a lot of deck slots, and for them to dedicate at least one of those deck slots to a pre-made Hero Draft, I find it's kind of rough. Of course, you can always delete it afterwards, but for those of you again who don't have a lot of deck slots, you might be already maxed out on the deck slots, and so having to delete one of your ranked decks maybe is just a rough feeling. So with that being said, we were informed last night that Hero Draft has been removed from the cycle. I'm sure this will probably make a lot of players happy. Now sticking with the two modes of Rainbow and Standard. Personally, some of the better modes that I think exist in my opinion. And if you did enjoy Hero Draft, I'm sure it might return at some point, maybe as a more polished version. But as of now, it's going to be cut removed from the cycle. We might see it, I think, a few more times, just to update the cycle a bit. So, whatever whenever the next Hero Draft is, that might be its final Hero Draft, or you might have already seen the final Hero Draft. It might be already out of the system. We're not super sure about that yet. So, but I think that was a big change that I think might impact the game slightly. The loss of a Hero Draft mode and now only having two tournament modes is going to be a bit more interesting. Alright, and now we move on to the final change. The final sort of hidden change that was made last night in all of the discussion that happened, and I think one of the first things that was dropped was a buff to the ranked packs. That's right. These bad boys are now, going to be slightly more worth it to grab. That is because now for rank 30, well, at least I should mention, previously when you had gotten to rank 30 for a ranked pack, you would receive 6 foil cards. And of course, ranked packs would always be foiled, so they would be about 6 foil cards for rank 30. 5 for rank 29 is lower. I think they'll stop around rank 25, etc., etc. I don't remember the, drop rates for all of the, rankings. I just know 25 to 29 is probably about 5 cards, and then rank 30 is at 6 card territory. But, and then, I'm still kind of taken aback by this change a little bit because of how drastic it is. To, I guess, incentivize more players to reach rank 30, Vaunt has made the ranked packs drop a total of 18 cards for rank 30. That's a big jump. From 6 to 18 cards, that's quite a lot of cards. If you think about it, a standard pack is about, it contains 5 cards. So to have nearly, nearly 4 packs, I say nearly because I think, 4 packs for one is about 20 cards. So we're nearly at 4 packs worth of cards in one pack, and that being the ranked pack. And on top of that, the increase to the cards, they still have normal pack rates as always, but they have an increase on the rates of legendaries and foils. 5 times for foils, 2 times for the legendaries. I think that's a pretty hefty change in my opinion, especially for players who don't have a full collection yet. It gives them some motivation to reach that rank 30, so that way they can pull an abundance of cards from a pack. And of course, that makes the ranked pack definitely more intriguing to open, seeing as how we go from about 6 to 18. No word on if these actually are going to be put into effect next season, meaning that at the end of this November season, which is only in about 6 days. There's no word on if those packs will be, influenced with the new drop rates, or the December season is when we're going to be seeing these increased packs. But overall, I would say that's pretty hefty. And to compensate the, of course, lower rankings as well, I believe, like I mentioned, the previous 25 to 29 got about 5 cards. They're going to be increased to about 12 cards, so it's still okay, but when you consider 18 at the rank 30, a whole pack's worth pretty much, in the, for one rank, of course 29 to 30. I would say kind of provides a little more incentive for players to reach that rank 30 just, for those extra 6 cards. It's it's pretty much a whole pack worth of cards that you're missing out on if you guys don't get to that rank 30. So we'll see if that kind of brings anything, or at least brings any more incentive to the ranking scene. Players reaching rank 30 probably more often with how much cards you're getting per pack. And on top of that, the legendary castle bug was brought to Vaughn's attention, and he hopefully, or he sets off to have that fixed, hopefully maybe by the December season. So no word on if that bug is fixed yet, but he is working on it. So if you guys don't already have, or at least if you guys want that legendary castle, if you don't have it, again, a bit more incentive to grind to rank 30 next season, because hopefully that bug will be fixed by then. He has, again, 6 days to do it, and I think we'll be seeing the legendary castle again real soon. So interesting times for the ranking scene, I would say, thanks to that increase in the cards for the ranked pack, and the castle bug being addressed is something that a lot of players have been wanting for a long time as well. So overall, some great changes. Again, like I said, probably the more impactful change was the ranked pack, but again, there has been a lot of changes, over literally the past 2 days, and of course they're not really game related, but still, or I guess gameplay related, they are still pretty impactful, I think, the game overall. With that being said, guys, that's going to do it for this edition of Cards and Castles. Hope you guys enjoyed this little news episode. Hopefully bring to light some of the things that you guys may not have noticed or may not have been aware of in the past few days. A lot of things are going down, and hopefully makes, or at least it provides a, well, it does make me hopeful that, the game is still being worked on, of course, with these little incentive changes here and there. I guess it's not the right word. But anyway, you guys get what I'm saying. It's good to see that the game is receiving some small little changes to make it better, to make it more worthwhile to play. Let me know what you guys think of these changes. Leave a comment down below telling me what you think, if you enjoy any of them, if there's one that you specifically dislike or enjoy. Again, let me know in the comment section below. And while you're down there, give the video a like, share with your friends, of course, hit that subscribe button if you're new. Help show your support to the channel, help us grow by clicking that subscribe button at no additional cost to you. And with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for me for now. Join the Discord server if you haven't already, as a quick little note before I head off there, to be, so that way you guys can catch up on all these little changes when they happen. Discord, again, a great place to do so. So, with that little Discord plug out of the way, until next time, guys, stay gaming.